this caliber. But nonetheless, the map is loaded up, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on Garden Terror, and on the left side of your map is going to be Nexo. Let's introduce these very well-known players, a handful of professional StarCraft 2 players. Vortex playing the Lumberjack Uther, Falcon on the Sergeant Hammer Black Core. On the Vala, it's going to be Grand Pick on the Malfurion, and Lucifron playing the Rock God, ETC.
You're all right with being well known in the StarCraft scene. I've watched these guys multiple times through ESL and many other events, so it's really interesting to see them here doing some really good things in Heroes of the Storm. But not to be undersold, Pestrunishka here, they had a 64 and a 32 win, and they're going to be putting their best foot forward. Gwip into the top. Mova Morn, Just Zol. It's Just Zol, guys. And Sir Ice Cream, which is a great name. And Razor Edge going to be making up the team here from Ukraine, and haven't had any issues with their English that I've been able to tell. But they're here to play, man, and going up against these powerhouses, it's really up to them to make this work.
Black Core showing a little showmanship, hitting that B button, keeping his APM up in the mid lane. So big thing to keep your eye on is the rotations from the Stitches, the rotations from the Taran, and exactly as I say that. They're both rotating down to the bottom lane. Stitches in the bushes. Malfurion has to be careful here, but he knows what's up. He's going to Moonfire and reveal the rotation. Well played by him, because that definitely could have been an easy first blood for Pestrunishka.
So taking a quick look at some of our talents once more, we do have Pierce here for the Tyrande. And, picking that up, did we even get to 16? Yeah, we totally got to 16 last round, but I don't actually recall if we had the Pierce. It does lend a lot of credence to it, though, so we'll have to see where she goes with that. Slam build here started off for Movramon, and everything else looks pretty much canon at this point, going back and forth.
Looking at the top lane, it's going to be a Tychus versus an ETC. I feel like ETC, as long as he plays that right, definitely can get the upper hand, but it's all about making sure you don't take too much damage from those overkills. Looking at the middle lane, though, Diablo is going to rotate up here right as the first knight spawns. These teams are going to spread themselves across the map, soak efficiently, get seeds efficiently. It's a little bit of a dance you have to do. You don't overcommit to one and lose behind an experience, but at the same time, you got to make sure you pick up those seeds and you'll get yourself a Garden Terror.
So both teams have now actually picked up quite a few of their camps. Just Zol did abandon out that mid lane a little bit early, but he has now secured 2 of the camps, whereas now Vala and Uther are going to continue on with this roam. Zol will find them, but yeah, that's not going to be a comp that he can actually take on, not at this point. The rest of Pestrunishka has more or less stayed around in their lanes, but we do now see with that early aggression into the top, Hunter's Mark comes out immediately from Razor's Edge. Here's the healing ward from level 4, and that is going to be a very quick bottom golem, and that will put us very close. I think that will put us at 90. Exactly.
Yep, so Pestrunishka is foregoing a little bit of a lane experience here, and you can see the deficit that is already going the way of Nexo, but they got themselves 90 seeds. It's all about, they need to do something with that, though. They lost lane soak to get themselves seeds. They need to make up ground somehow. Obviously, they have great heroes that lend them to aggressive play and aggressive ganks. Looking at the build coming out from the Tychus, it's going to be that overkill build. That's kind of the new age Tychus build. And the potential for the laser, the Draken laser, is absolutely there. Down in mid lane, Jessul getting caught out with a good Malfurion roots. He did overpower the Uther, and oh my lord, he barely lives. That Moonfire almost sealed the deal there. So well, oh my gosh, Black Core was going to just Jewel. He needs to get out of there, because if one more multi-shot, he could go down.
He keeps getting hit and hit and hit. Every time I look at him, he's at 90 hit points or so, but he is regenning fairly soon, very quickly, and he should be back to about half health or so fairly soon. Razor's Edge is going to come out here. That's going to be a heal, and there's nobody quite to grab. Unfortunately, though, he's not really able to put up any kind of resistance, and there goes the tower, and possibly another one is Black Corpse is just going to keep going on into it unimpeded, and there it goes as well. That will put us about half level, a little bit more than half level now for the team of Nexo. Falcon doing some really fancy maneuvers down in the bottom lane, but looks like he will get out of that one unscathed. They did have the Stone Bros. They are not going to be effective, and we're still waiting for 7 here from Pestrunishka. And yeah, in terms of the seeds, it was an exact split, 90-90. There was no contest, no fights. Everyone just took their side and ran.
Nexo definitely getting the better end of that bargain, though. Because as I mentioned, Pestrunishka committed, they lost 2 lanes of soak for a better part of about 15 or 30 seconds. They did get the 90 Cs, but at the same time, Nexo kept at least one person every single lane, and at the same time got all of their 90 Cs as well. So just more efficient play coming out of them. As we're looking at the level 7 talents, looks like some pretty standard stuff across the board. There's the True Shot Aura for Taran. The first aid on Tychus, Toxic Gas, definitely a big damage build coming up from the Stitches and the battle momentum on the Diablo. Now, when you are running this sort of pick-off composition, this, you know, just get someone out of the team fight, get them hooked. And okay, there's the first hook on to Falcon, but unfortunately the Lunar Flare was just not lined up. But when you're at a level deficit running this sort of composition, it can get a real Ari for you, because all of a sudden you just don't have enough burst to take down the significantly increased HP of a hero who has a level advantage on you. So they got to do something. They got to do something quick, because now heroics are on the horizon for El Nexo.
Now that hook did, you know, connect with Falcon, but it looks like it bounced off of the turret, which is why the lunar mark or the lunar blaze was or the lunar flare, wow, was actually off, because they were supposed to come right up against that gate, but it looked like he actually bounced off the turret with that bigger character model of his. Immediately we see the heroics, and immediately they use him. That was the 1-2 punch, and there goes into Z. But that's gonna be a hook there on top of Vortex, though. But he's okay with this. He is a big and beefy Uther. He has been known to walk away. The napalm will take Tyrande down, and that will be a 3-man cleanup on the back of a hook that probably shouldn't have happened.
Pestrunishka, I feel like they haven't been making good rotations. They haven't got a single kill on the board. It's almost to the 6-minute mark now. They're at a 2 level deficit. And as I mentioned, when you're running this sort of draft with a level deficit, it's just, they're not playing well to the draft that they had lined up. They're playing as if they did go with a more typical healing support, maybe like a double warrior sort of composition with a more typical healing support. But that's not the case. They need to change up their style. Now they have level 10. There's a period of time where they're on even ground when it comes to talents, and this is when they need to make up ground in the department for experience. There's the Apocalypse from the Diablo and the Odin coming out from the Tychus.
Yeah, so it's going to be Apocalypse on top of a Starfall, Ravenous Odin. They really are going to go for that. It is a Gorge, however, from the Stitches. I was leaning a little bit more towards the Bile, because the Bile on the back of the Apocalypse, I mean, it just goes super well with the zone control. But that's going to be the stage dive coming in here from Lucifron. He is not really going to hit anybody quite yet, but Razor's Edge just becomes a sandwich, and Tyrande is now going to drop like a sack of potatoes. But Sir Ice Cream is going to get out of that one, and we had to use a few ults, but the kill's secure. This means that the seed pressure is now going back and forth, and whoever can get the more seeds, the napalm's so close. Now, could actually put themselves in position for a second terror right off of this one.
El Nexo is looking great, looking strong. The initiation there from Pestrunishka just simply wasn't on point. The ETC stage drive didn't hit anyone at all. The Starfall was borderline useless, as Razor's Edge is living up to his name and just getting caught out of position. Going way too far forward. 2 down.
He was on the Razor's Edge.
Yes, he was on the Razor's Edge. So yeah, I think we are going to be seeing 2 terrors back-to-back for El Nexo, and this is a great play from them. It's just going to give the 2 Garden Terrors back-to-back. Now that we're only at the 7.5-minute mark, these Garden Terrors are not the strongest in the world, nothing to shake a stick at, but it's not like they're going to be soloing down a core anytime soon. But having them 2 back-to-back is really going to enable El Nexo to push down these structures and get a lot of map vision here. There's the Ravenous Spirit in the backlines. Sir Ice Cream using the Spirit full duration, but unfortunately the follow-up simply isn't there. And right now the damage is just not enough damage coming out from this lineup, who's all about burst, who's all about damage. And they're just losing the war of attrition. 2 going down for El Nexo, and they are looking great right here as we get into the mid-game at the 8-minute mark.
Just Zol went huge into the backline there on top of El Nexo, but unfortunately he lost the Tyrande, he lost that Stitches. The Stitches went down, like he was really far forward. I guess he was trying to steal as many seeds as he could, but was not going to be near enough. The Diablo takes a very late death on that, but we also got the Flower Pots now moving into this mid. Lucifron just doing some really good work there with his Terror. And look at that, 132 seeds versus the 28 gained from Pestrunishka. This is going to be a back-to-back Terror for our Nexo, and until they're ready to summon it forward, they're going to try to paint this map a little blue for now.
Hook is off the mark. Razor's Edge once again just simply getting caught out of position. A Desperation Starfall is going to go down, but there's not much else that can be done. Grand is going to use that Tranquility to top off every member of El Nexo, and they have a good push going down here bottom. They're on the cusp of level 16. A magnificent Valkyrian Roots onto the 2 frontliners of Pestrunishka. There's the Apocalypse, but Just Duel is all on his own, forever alone. He's going to go down as well. Not enough souls to resurrect. A easy 3 kills going the way of El Nexo, and level 16 is going to be here. If Siege Ogre's pushing the bottom lane, yet another Garden Tear. We could be seeing a really early keep going down here, Sean.
Everybody's going to head on back, get themselves some hit points. And will they take this tower, or will they start out another creep camp beforehand? You see Lucifron and Blackscorp. Blackscorp, they are going for their easies, and it looks like that will be their big target. So they get the easies. They have the next terror ready to go. Now, can the next seed phase actually spawn during the second terror? Because I believe it can.
No. There's a certain intrinsic timer built into where after a garden tier is up, it's a period of time before after it goes down. I don't know the exact number, but I know that they can't spawn while it's still up. Sometimes you actually see it like immediately spawn afterwards, depending on how long the duration is going on. But here comes the push, the inevitable push down here in mid lane. The tier 2 towers are getting torn apart by the thorny Jumanji veins coming out from Vortex. This is going to have to be a big defense from Pestrunishka if they want to live here.
Yeah, well, the great defense is not exactly just Zul's name. He does drop very quickly on this one. And again, we have no file whatsoever from Movramon. He does only have that Gorge, and so far he hasn't seen a hook target use that's good to use it on. He might use it on Lucifron here just to try to put the cow down, but it's just not going to come out. And Jaranda is now going to be dead. The keep is gone. The Odin is done. Lucifron is out of that terror, or no, so, well, whoever was in the terror is actually done with it now as well, but we are sieging out this core at the 11-minute mark. El Nexo has totally put on a clinic here in the Garden of Terror, and with 2 terrors to the name, a 4-level advantage, and multiple more heroics going their way. Can they end it out here, Shane?
There's a good Apocalypse landed, but I just don't think the follow-up is there. Being down by 4 levels here, that's a huge deficit that is absolutely insurmountable. So El Nexo is going to take what looked like an easy game, making it look easy. Taking out Pestrunishka, moving on to the round of 8. We're going to see a best of 3 out of them. And whoever they face up against, they are looking good. They are looking strong right there. That double healer composition was just, as I mentioned before, able to weather the storm. And I feel like Pestrunishka simply didn't play well to the composition in their early game. And when you're behind with that sort of lineup, that's what's going to happen. It's a snowball effect where all of a sudden now you don't have enough damage to get the kills you otherwise would have been able to, and the enemy team can just kind of walk all over you because they know they have the extra health, the extra mana, the extra heals to sustain and basically negate the whole entire purpose of your lineup. And we saw it come into play there, Sean.